There's a 5-step process in planning the instruction for a special needs child. We're going to start with identifying the goals for that children. The goals will be identified using assessment data, and you will use that data to write generative skill objectives. A generative skill objective is one that can be used in many settings. So it doesn't matter where they are, who they're with, what event it is, or what they're using. We want to make sure that they can still do the same skill. An example of this would be when someone is learning to pick up Cheerios, or pick up soap, or pick up beads, or pick up crayons. The skill of picking up is the skill we want them to learn, but we want to transfer that across all kinds of environments and places and people. So we have to identify what those skills are. Then we have to move to the second box where it says create opportunities for learning in both routines and daily instructional activities. We want to have a lot of opportunities for them to work on the skills that we develop as important for them. And we want a variety of opportunities to practice the same skill. So if you think about the last generative skill, the skill was picking up, but we want to give them opportunities to practice picking up lots of different things around lots of different people in lots of different situations, so they can transfer that information across their learning platform, which is life. And the more opportunities they have to do that, the more that they can understand the skill. Then one of the strategies we use is in the next box, and this is the largest box on the page. While we're giving them those opportunities, we need to use helping strategies called prompts. And these are clues or cues to assist the student in using the skill. And there's 5 kinds of prompts we use with students. The first one is a gestural prompt. And this is a movement that a teacher would use to let the child know what is expected of them. And children will wait for these cues. If you think about even babies, they watch your gestures and your facial recognition to know to do something next. The next kind of prompting is modeling. And this involves the teacher saying or doing what we want them to do, and then they do it after us. An example is where we would say something like, please, and then they would say please, or we would say thank you, and they would say thank you. Think about how many times we give these modeling prompts to young children. Sometimes we even say the words, say please, or say thank you. So those are the kind of prompts that we give them, called modeling prompts. Physical prompts are the third category of prompts, and this is where we gently touch or guide the child to help them accomplish the skill. And oftentimes when we want them to do something, we'll physically take their hands or take their feet, or guide them in a way that helps them to do that till they can do that on their own. The fourth prompt is a pictorial prompt, and these are visual cues that help the child accomplish the skill. This is where they see pictures of something and they know what they're supposed to do there or where they're supposed to go. Many times when we look at autistic children or nonverbal children, we give them pictorial clues as choices. I know a video specifically I saw just the other day with a child that was nonverbal, and he had what they call a pegboard where he could make his choices, and they would say, do you want to read a story? Do you want to color a picture? Or do you want to have a snack? And then they showed him pictures for each of those, and then he was allowed to choose. The last one is our verbal cues, and these are similar to modeling, but verbal cues are where teachers use language strategies to help children accomplish a skill. And this is where we say, please come sit down next to me, or please go put that away. We're telling them what happens next, but a lot of times they are combined with modeling prompts as well. This is where they learn expectations through our verbal prompting. Now, when we go out of the prompting stage, which is constantly going on with all children, we need to reinforce the things that they've done correctly. Positive feedback is very important for children to continue to use the skill. So if they do something well, you want to give them positive feedback. The best kind of feedback is the feedback that is naturally occurring. So an example of this would be when you see a child do something correctly, you will praise them, but then give them the reward that is natural. And the example they share in your book is a child independently zips up their coat, and you say, "Great job zipping up your coat all by yourself. Now you can go outside and play." The reward wasn't a sticker or a high five. The reward was, since your coat is on, you can go outside and play. So we want to have as many naturally occurring reinforcements, because if we constantly are giving those extrinsic material reinforcements, they'll come to expect those, and they actually become less powerful and meaningful to the child. So we want them to be reinforced by positive, naturally occurring things if possible. The last step in the instructional planning process would be the monitoring of their progress. This monitoring is usually done through observation and documentation using checklists or rating scales. And this is nice because these anecdotal notes give us powerful tools to communicate with the therapists or the families or the healthcare providers. But also checklists and rating scales very simply give feedback that can be chronologically noted over time. With a checklist, you think about it, the first time you go in and you date it, you check off what they can do. In another week, you go back and you check off what they can do. In another week, you go back again. You can see that progress over time and that growth. And that's important to the development of not only positive self-concept and confidence for the child, but it's also a great tool to see how that growth is forming and shaping and how much time it's taking to do that. So checklists and rating scales are a nice concrete way to monitor the progress of the students on their goals. And this is a cycle that'll keep going. So when we get through to progress monitoring, we look at that data, and that goes back to identifying the goals to set up the generative skills that we're going to write as objectives. And we do that cycle over and over again with our students. This is how we plan for our special needs children.